So I was at a baseball game last Sunday, and one of the umpires asked. It was the one of those Eastern Illinois baseball league games, and a big one too. It was between the Paxton Swedes and the Buckley Dutchmasters, and the umpire goes up to some of the fans and asks, "Is there a pitch count in this league?" Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can leave a comment. Uh, you can leave a comment. Um, did you hear me say pitch or piss? Pitch or piss? Cause, I'll be honest. When I heard the question from the umpire, I for some reason my brain went to piss count. But my brain, maybe it was my brain, maybe it was my stress level, maybe it was the umpire's accent, but uh, or his yeah, his accent. Let's go with that. Um, but I heard him say piss count instead of pitch count. Uh, yeah, me and my brain. Yeah, yeah, that'd be kind of horrible if there was a piss count in the league. If there's like a limit. If there's like a limit to how much somebody is allowed to piss, uh, that's is allowed to urinate. Apparently it can only fill up. You know what? Let's not get too disgusting here, but no, he was talking about pitch count, pitch. All right, I just want to make it perfectly clear, because yeah, which makes a lot more sense, because yeah, the Buckley Dutchmasters, they had a pitcher who ended up pitching. Who ended up throwing like 165 pitches or something like that. Yeah, but he would end up. Yeah, Braden Rush. He had who I think previously he actually hit like I think the hit the 150 mark during one of the championship series games last year. Yeah, but he got up to 165 this week, and in the first game of the EI League doubleheader, and but yeah, I ended up doing so in yeah, I ended up with a non-decision though. Yeah, the Paxton Swedes ended up winning the game 6-5. They actually, Buckley, he was this rush kid was pitching a shutout through the first the first 8 innings of that game, but uh, then I guess I don't know, I guess his arm kind of wore out. I mean the answer that the fans gave that umpire was well, as long as it's not dangling, which which didn't clear up the pitch or piss question that was in my mind. Didn't exactly clear things up, because yeah, both your arm and your well, let's call them your third leg, or call it your third leg, your second head, or whatever you yeah, whatever you want to call a penis. Yeah, I guess they can both be dangling, but but yeah, I guess Rush's arm was kind of dangling internally, because yeah, he ended up I think he ended up walking. Hold on, let me. Yeah, Rush walked the first three batters of the ninth inning before Briar Cosgrove ended up hitting an RBI single, and then after Rush walked another batter to score another one for the Swedes, he ended up getting pulled for Alton Middleton, who didn't with him on the mound. The Swedes ended up tying the game, and then ended up winning the game in the 11th innings. Ended up walking off in the 11th inning on a Nolan Rimmel single, who also ended up being the winning pitcher in that game. He pitched like 5.5 innings after apparently not having pitched in 2 years. So that was yeah he was I asked him hey if you were you kind of extra motivated and motivated by not wanting to pitch another inning, and yeah, he kind of confirmed it. um, yeah, yeah. Going back to the umpire, dude. Let me ask. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. I think if I recall correctly, if there is a limited, if there are pitch counts, if there are pitch count limits in a league, I guess you would think that an umpire would be keeping track. There'd be some kind of member of the umpiring crew keeping track of the pitch counts. But for as far as I know, I think it's actually just the coaches that count the pitches. So, which I don't know. It's maybe not a perfect system. I mean, you never know. There could be a coach going rogue and making their pitchers stay out and pitch more than 130, and nobody knows it because nobody else is keeping count. Um, well, maybe not nobody. I mean, I'm sure there's always at least one person in the stands who's probably going to be who's doing his own counting, and yeah, because he thinks he's it's fun. I thinks he's gonna keep his own scorebook and everything because he's probably the same guy yelling at the umpires about how bad their strike zones are, and because he thinks he can do better. But, but yeah, yeah. But an umpire asking fans if there's a pitch count, I don't know. Seems a little weird. Seems like if you were an umpire, you'd have to know if you're an umpire umpiring a league, you'd think there'd be some kind of training involved, and in which you learn all the rules of the game, rules in your league, but maybe not, maybe not. Yeah, yeah, that was a thrilling. That was a very thrilling doubleheader. Swedes ended up coming back from 5-0 to win that first game 6-5. Then they got a 2-0 lead heading into the seventh and final regulation inning in game two. But Buckley ended up scoring a couple runs to tie the game, and then that game went into extra innings before Buckley ended up winning. What was it? It was 4-2 in the eighth inning. So yeah, 19 innings, which was a bad time. Which, for me personally, I guess. Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, it was a fun series to be a part of. But at the time, I was a little panicked. I'll be honest. Because I had tell you what, you guys ever had You ever have you know those those sunscreen spray bottles? Yeah, I had one of those, and tell me if this ever happened to you. Do you ever like unlock it and then nothing like comes out when you try to press the button to make it come out? Does that ever happen to you? Because it happened to me then, and yeah, I guess I was kind of freaked out. Like, am I gonna have to make a run of Dollar General in between games? Should I order one off a bottle of sunscreen off a DoorDash? I actually considered it, but then I saw that it was gonna cost me about almost $20. I'm like, yeah, the hell with that. Nah, but yeah, but I guess I had some pretty helpful fans kind of help me out there. Yeah, they and I guess this shout out to the fans. They're very helpful with members of the press and with umpires. They seem to know things. And, yeah, I guess they had this idea of taking off the cap. They used like I guess they had some kind of bottle opener or something, and they got it open, and I guess there's this little spigot thing, and that would spray the um, that would hold on a second. Yeah, so where was I? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I was talking about sunscreen. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a new bottle of sunscreen before my next outdoor activity. But yeah, yeah, because the sunscreen, it was just spitting everywhere. I think at one point it got on my camera, and the next day the dial mode, the mode dial on the thing broke off, and now I've got a broken camera, and I had to ship that off to Canon, and now I'm waiting for a rental. Yeah, so that's a bit stressful. Um, yeah, yeah, and it might cost a lot of money. So anybody who wants to sponsor my podcast, I'd greatly appreciate it. Um, or if you want to sponsor a Facebook post, we get a little bit of engagement from our Facebook posts. There's been a lot, a lot of like a pretty good amount of chunk of likes from my foes, the Swedes and Dutchmasters baseball league, and from I think Ryland Holt. He actually had a little speech to give at Moyer District Library yesterday. Yeah, he was actually there where my mode dial broke. It was before I went in, I was trying to change my shooting mode, and yeah, it just broke off. The dial just broke off. But yeah, I ended up using my cell phone to take the pictures, so it's all good. But yeah, it was a good time, pretty good time. Everybody had a bunch of questions and a bunch of and everything. I had I had, man, I don't know, maybe a dozen people there. You gotta be generous and count, but yeah, I guess he has a old coach there. He had Lily Slasmore there. She's going to UIS after sophomore year at GCMS. So I guess she wanted to be there to kind of know the ropes of playing college ball and playing pro ball. I guess, and maybe playing pro ball. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But he'd been all over pretty much been all over Europe. He His last stop was in Hungary. Ryland was in Hungary, last in Hungary, and yeah, been in Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and you know, and his his team travels all these other countries too in Europe. So yeah, keep him very busy, and I guess you know, and apparently they got a lot of healthier food for him over there. So that's something. Um, the And apparently he hasn't had to worry too much about air conditioning because a lot of his rooms he's been in have been air conditioned. Um, and yeah, I guess right now, I guess his agent is negotiating some stuff, negotiating where he's going next. I guess he's looking at either Mexico or I guess looking at bigger countries like Mexico or France or places like Italy or places like that. Germany maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah. Yeah, so there's that's those photos are on Facebook as well as some photos of a truck that caught on fire at the Gibson City at the GCMS track facility. The truck tried to get in the track facility and it caught on fire, and I got some photos of the fire department hosing that truck down. If you want to see those, I guess an interesting sponsor for that would be Kingsford. You know, they got I guess they got a brand of lighter fluid. Yeah. Yep. Set your meat ablaze with Kingsford lighter fluid. Yeah. Yeah, imagine that being a sponsor. Yeah. 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 Well, yeah, it was a yeah, very interesting few days to say at least. Um, yeah, that was following Iroquois County Fair demolition derby, which you know, kind of your standard around the mill, fair, they they had cars were crashing into each other and driving and drinking and slinging a little bit of mud here and there, but it's, for me personally, it's not as messy as the Ford County Fair's demolition derby because the Iroquois County one Iroquois County they got this big stage. They got this big staging area at their grandstands. So yeah, whereas the Ford County Fair, if they're slinging mud at you, it's gonna come at you, and it's gonna make a huge mess of the ground you're standing on. So so your feet are gonna feel a little heavy. But yeah, maybe it builds character. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's about all I have for this week. Yeah, I mean, well, thankfully, this broken camera thing happened during a week that's not quite as busy. Hopefully I can get my rented camera by the very latest Saturday. That'd be good. Um. So yeah. Um. But yeah, that's supposed to be a very busy weekend as well. They got a you got the EI the EI League actually is going to be playing. the Swedes and Dutchmasters are going to actually be playing both the Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, the Swedes are supposed to. Yeah, the Swedes are. Yeah, both of the game, both each. Yeah, Buckley and Paxton are each going to play one game over at the Meyer Field in St. Joseph. They each have to make up a rained out game from like earlier in the season. And then on Sunday they gotta yeah they gotta play the exact same teams they played against. They gotta Paxton's gotta play against White Heath and St. Joe on Saturday for that one game. Then they got a doubleheader in Monticello at Monticello High School's baseball field. Uh, but Buckley is actually it's an interesting. Oh, I should probably mention that this is actually the last weekend of the EI League's regular season. After this is the playoffs. Yeah. So and Royal actually has a 2-game lead over the Dutchmasters in that race for first place. It looks from they're actually playing against Royal Giants in 3 games. The one on Saturday and then a doubleheader in Buckley on Sunday. If Buckley ends up winning all three games, they're actually going to get the regular season championship, which they actually didn't manage to do last year. Last year was the Giants, but Buckley ended up winning the tournament for the 4th straight year. And then, if Royal ends up winning one of those games, think I think they would end up winning the whole things for the 2nd straight year. So yeah, a lot to unravel, and also there's a swim meet. And I think the local golf course, the Lakeview Golf Country Club, is hosting a club championships. So that's yeah, yeah. Maybe I should get my rest, or maybe I probably should get my rest, but I don't know. There's money to be had. I gotta maybe make some more deliveries, I guess. But yeah. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time.